and we both liked comic books. Like, we had a lot, we just had a lot in common. And so we started hanging out, and we started trying to write Superbad, like, when we were, like, 13. Like, very quickly, we decided to try to write a movie together.
So that was your first attempt at a film, was Superbad.
Uh-huh.
And it's weird because the characters in
It only took around 10
Superbad
to 12 years.
Yeah, but the characters in Superbad are 17.
Yes.
So when you were 13, were you writing about 17-year-olds?
No, when we were 13, they were 13, and then they got older as we got older. I think when we were 13, we probably didn't even realize we should be paying much attention to how old they were. It was like, they're like
us.
Yeah, exactly. They're just like us. And then as we got older, we were like, oh, as a movie, it should have context, and you should understand, like, that they're maybe gonna graduate soon, and all these, like, at first it was just almost like scenes of things that had happened to us, it's almost like, was like high school sketches.
Right,
It was
right.
like zoning out in Spanish class, some of this, like, sitting in the cafeteria, making fun of the other kids, like, things that we did, like, and then we'd go to a party and something would happen, and we would just, it was kind of like writing out shit that had happened to us in, like, scene form, basically, and making it funnier than it was in real life, and adding jokes and punchlines and stuff like that. And then slowly, over the next couple of years, it, like, got this structure of, like, oh, it could be about these guys who were trying to lose their virginity, kind of, and then college is coming, and then beyond that, we were like, oh, it would be great if it had, like, a deeper emotional story about separation and all these things that, as we went from being 13 to 22, we got much more, comfortable talking about and just more context on, as it had kind of gone in the past a little bit.
Wham! How you doing? I'm Corey Hunter, and I'm back with another one. Here, we listen to Seth Rogen, man. Seth Rogen, writer, director, actor, very accomplished, very talented. He just give us some insight in terms of his process, in terms of writing the hit film Superbad, right? Now, if you haven't saw Superbad, please go check it out. It is a dope film, alright? I remember when Superbad came out, it was a big deal. It pretty much, like, skyrocketed them. When they start talking about that whole, like, overnight success thing, for people who weren't familiar with Seth Rogen already, this was that movie for him, alright? This was the movie that took him from just the regular guy to superstardom. That's what Superbad was. So, it was real interesting hearing what he had to say in terms of him developing this script, right? That said, man, I got a lot of different thoughts. We all believe that we have a dope idea. We all believe we have great ideas, right? And sometimes we think of something and we say, ooh, that would make a good movie. If I could knock that script out, then that could be my ticket, my golden ticket to, superstardom, fame, fortune, whatever it is you're aiming for, right? So, Seth Rogen was speaking about how he met his friend, and together they started coming together and pretty much cooking up this script, which is Superbad. The one thing I really want to drill in is context, right? The idea never changed, right? But we can imagine all the different processes, all the different drafts and forms that this script took. And we can imagine that these 13-year-olds were writing really bad scripts, right? But over time, it morphed, even though it kept the same idea. And that's one of the things I want to drill on, is in terms of skill versus idea, right? Skill, I believe, honestly, that skill can outswag or outperform an idea. You can take a bad idea or a mediocre idea, and with skill and craft, develop something special, right? Because what you're doing is you're changing the angles or the wordplay or pretty much the flow of the story. There's so many things that you can manipulate with skill that just can't be done with ideas. You get me? Like, obviously, if ideas start flowing, it morphs into a different idea. So obviously, that's a different idea, because ideas merge and morph into other things, right? But pretty much, man, they took that same concept, that same idea, they stayed true to it, And then about like 10 years later, they had a script that they was ready to cook up. So sometimes we get this idea in our head that our ideas aren't big enough, or that they're too big, or it's too weird, or whatever the case may be. That's never the case, all right? Whatever your idea is, I'm pretty sure it can work. The only thing you have to develop is skill, structure. I mean, expertise in terms of screenplay and screenwriting, all right? And this is something that Seth Rogen and his friend and his partner in crime learned, something they developed as they grew older. If they kept on drilling away at the script, they kept on growing as people as well, literally, and also as creatives, all right? They went from just trying to do this to actually becoming self-taught, and they became better through years of like preparation and trying to achieve their goal in terms of stacking up ideas, running ideas between each other. Trying to find out what's the anchor of the movie, what's the core of the movie, what's the themes, what's the moral, and so on and so forth, right? The idea is important, but you need the skill, all right? The idea isn't going to carry you by itself, because the idea of Superbad is a very general idea. It's like a million movies made like that. But it's the craft and the skill of the movie, the little details, the little Easter eggs that actually makes Superbad unique. That's the thing that made it a hit at the time when it came out. Alright, so we have to practice on our skill, we have to practice on our craft. We're just gonna have a mediocre movie, regardless of how big or grand or great the idea is, right? And that's something that I wanted to drill. Another thing I wanted to drill is in terms of how long it took them to write this screenplay. You're going through a lot in life. You're doing a lot. So it takes time for ideas to stack, for you to think things through. Because it's not like you have an idea and you just can run out the door with it. When you have these ideas, when you have great ideas, what you have to do as a creator is challenge them, right? You say, okay, why would this person do this, right? Like, why would this person stand up this girl? It's a great idea. It probably works in terms of whatever other plots you have set up. However, now you got to challenge it, because now you got to think about it in terms of the other angles. In terms of, do this actually fit that character? Do that actually fit this story? Do it fit what I'm trying to say? Now you had a dope idea, but you might have to throw that idea out the window because it doesn't fit what you're trying to accomplish, all right? So stacking up ideas doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to use all these ideas. Once you stack up all these ideas, you start putting them into the script. Now you got to start to filter them out. And that's pretty much what they did. You know what I'm saying? They had a bunch of ideas. I can imagine they had like 200, 300 ideas, and a lot of it had to be filtered out because it served no purpose. One of the ideas that he mentioned was that, they just jotting down a bunch of ideas. One of them was like in Spanish class when like one of them was zoning out. That's something that we can all identify with. However, I don't remember seeing that scene in Superbad. I'm pretty sure that's one of the scenes that got filtered out because, yeah, it's dope. It is humane. Like, we get it. We can, relate. However, did it really serve any of the points of Superbad? Like, what was the point of it? They pretty much figured out, okay, this is just a pointless scene and we don't need it. It's not matching the tone, it's not matching the mood, and we can either put this on the back burner, use it for another script at another time, or we just get rid of it and just scrap it all together. Whatever the case is, we have to filter out these ideas, right? So, and now it comes down back full circle to skill, all right? Skill can swag any idea. Some people say some things can't be done. Some things are unfilmable. Some ideas just aren't good. Whatever the case may be, anything can really be swag with the proper amount of skill, all right? And yeah, this is pretty much what they was able to accomplish through time, all right? They took the years, they learned the craft, they kept on letting it rotate over and over in their mind, and they start filtering out all the bad stuff, and eventually they was able to craft up a pretty decent script. All right. Now remember, that's only one part of the process. Then we got to get the movie made and distribution, but actually creating that movie, creating that screenplay, It takes time, it takes patience, but more than anything else, it also takes skill. And skill isn't something that you have to be born with. It is something that can be acquired and something that can be achieved through hard work. So, that's all I got for you today, man. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, thank you. Until next time.